Hello and welcome to another episode of Oh and That's a Bad Miss. Apologies for this episode being a day late. I do aim to release them on the Monday, but unfortunately, well, it's a mixed bag. If you're living in the UK, which according to my statistics, nearly all of you are, I don't have to tell you that the weather has been spectacular over here. We've been getting, double digits for February is brilliant. I think it got up to 15, 16 degrees in Dorset yesterday. It's because we've got I'm looking out the window now, I've got no cloud. It's a beautiful sunny day. I've just popped down the post office, absolutely beautiful. But apparently I now suffer from hay fever. I think it's hay fever. It could just be a cold. But yeah, that's hit me hard yesterday. I was bunged up, coughing, sneezing every 5 seconds. One of my eyes was watering. That's still watering. So yeah, that's why that wasn't out yesterday, but none of you really care about that. All you want to know about is all the goings on in snooker, and that's what I'm here for. And do you know where else you can find out all the goings on in snooker? That's right, reddit.com/r/snooker, the sponsor of the episode. Head over there for discussion threads on all the ranking events. You know the deal by now if you've listened before, and if you haven't listened before, hit that subscribe button on your chosen platform. We are available on Spotify, which is a follow, I believe, not a subscription, YouTube and iTunes. I was releasing these on SoundCloud, but it only got a couple of listeners, and I've hit the point where I need to pay to upload everything else to SoundCloud. So yeah, unless there's a huge outcry and people really want to listen to it on there, I'll leave it for those, just iTunes, Spotify and YouTube. Yes, so this week we've had a relatively busy week actually. We started off with the China Open Qualifiers, and obviously the China Open is a huge tournament for a lot of players. It's got a prize pot of $1 million, which, wow, you don't need to tell me how important that is. And each year in the qualifiers we tend to have a bit of a surprise. Last year we had Judd Trump being knocked out in the qualifying stage and therefore not receiving any money. And this year we had Shaun Murphy suffering a 6-4 defeat to Adam Stefanow of Poland, which is incredible. Stefanow is 112 places below Shaun Murphy at rank 123. And yeah, he just outplayed him 6-4. Absolutely spectacular. I mean, other than that run to the final of the Scottish Open, Murphy's not done well. In fact, it says here he has not reached the quarterfinals of any other ranking event this season. And for a man who had an absolutely incredible season last season, I think he played Ronnie O'Sullivan 3 times in ranking event finals last season. To not be able to make it to more than one quarterfinal, is depressing. And since 2019, he's lost 5 out of his 6 matches. He really needs to build up some sort of confidence, and the China Open is normally the perfect place to do so before the World Championships. But obviously, he can't. It's terrifying. Most of the other players made it through. Kyron Wilson, Ken Doherty qualified, which is quite impressive. Jimmy White was knocked out. We had Judd Trump go through, Higgins, all these players qualify. And Shaun Murphy continues to struggle. We'll see. Maybe he's focusing too much on the behind-the-scenes stuff and not getting enough practice time in, because we know he is the players. I don't think it's a players' union, but he works in that sort of area. He works with the WPBSA on all player matters. And he's also been focusing on trying to get snooker to the Olympics. So, possibly, he should maybe slow down on those sort of things, but I don't know, we'll see. Maybe he'll turn it around and prove us all wrong. Another news story that may have gone a bit, under the radar, you might not have picked up on, is Jackson Page. He has turned professional by winning the 2019 European Under-21 Championship in Israel. He's the Welsh lad that you may have seen coming up, where was it? It was the Welsh UK Championship. He was on a TV, on the BBC channel, not too long ago, and did incredibly well. And now he's, as an amateur, and now he's gone professional. Great news for the lad. Great news for the younger game, because he's a young man. Looks like he's in his mid-20s. Puts me to shame. He's under 21. I am 21. And yeah, he's a teenager still. That's depressing, isn't it? When you think about how he looks like he's in his mid-30s and I look about 12. So yeah, I mean, fair shit to the lad. Being able to win the under 21s European Championship of snooker, incredibly impressive. But I think he could go far. I think he could be one of those players who in 4 years, is right up there in the top 16. Watching him play is an absolute treat. So we shall see. And of course, the big tournament of the week was the snooker shootout, and it's big because it's controversial. It was won by Tapchart, which was his first ranking event win, which says a lot that the last 2 years it's been won by players who have never won another ranking event. If you're unaware, the snooker shootout works with almost the same rules as regular snooker, but it's the key rules that are different. The crowd, they get very involved. There's no silencing the crowd. You have a 10-minute time clock on the frame, and for the first 5 minutes you have a 15-second time shot clock and a 10-second shot clock after the first 5 minutes have ended. So, by all rules of the game, that's not snooker. I don't understand how it's a ranking event. Yes, it's a bit of fun, and it was run as just a regular fun event up until 3 years ago now. And then World Snooker, in their undying wisdom, decided, no, let's make this a ranking event. Just to put it in perspective, imagine the Premier League. Okay, so you got the Premier League, you got City, Liverpool, everyone at the top. You got Southampton, Cardiff at the bottom. Okay, and then they say, okay, 30 odd matches of the year, we're going to play regular football rules. One match of the year, we are going to play futsal. We're going to play indoor football, or we're going to play table football. Let's play table football for a match. Yeah, but the 3 points you win in a game of table football still count towards the Premier League table. There would be fucking outrage. And yet we play a sport that is totally different, partway through the calendar, and the points Tapchart has just won, which is his first ranking event, it counts towards his ranking position. I mean, he made the highest break of the shootout at 139, which is impressive. He won £32,000, which is not a small amount of money, especially when he's ranked number 53 in the world. It's infuriating to me that this tournament, I'm fine with it existing, I'm fine with it being a bit of fun, I'm fine with it being televised, I'm not fine with it being in the ranking event. It is unbelievable that it's a ranking event. I just don't understand. If anyone can understand the thought behind World Snooker, please explain it to me, because I don't understand how they think it's alright for this to be a ranking event. The rankings could be changed a huge amount based on this. But it looks like it's not a particularly popular one amongst the players either. I think it was 2 or 3 of the top 16 competed. Ridiculous. Oh, and it was on ITV last year, but this year it's been booted back down to Eurosport and Quest. And if you don't understand the TV hierarchy of snooker, not in terms of quality of production, but just in terms of viewership and the amount of people they're able to reach, it's the BBC, because they show it on BBC One or BBC Two. ITV's events are shown on ITV4, so that's the next tier. Then it's the Eurosport and Quest ones, and then it's just the Eurosport player ones. So it's been booted down from ITV to Eurosport and Quest. And I was talking to a bloke at work about this today. He's quite into his snooker. And he didn't understand why it should count towards ranking points. He wasn't aware it was. He thought it was just a bit of a laugh. But no, this is something that could change a player's year. So, yeah, I think I've had my piece with that. I think I've made myself perfectly clear, to be honest. Yeah, so that's about it from this week. It's been, despite having quite a lot going on, it hasn't been a huge week. But this coming week, we've got the Indian Open, which of course was I can't remember the word. My God, I'm tired and hay fevery. My brain is just melting. It was rescheduled, there you go, because of the horrific flooding in the area earlier in the year, because the India Open, I believe, is the second ranking event normally, but now it's all the way down through the beginning of March. Already March, my God. This year's gone flying by. And then we've got more snooker to come. I went through this last week and it blows my mind how much snooker we got going on. Day after the Indian Open ends, we've got the Coral Players Championships. The day after that ends, we've got the Champions League Group 7. And then the day after that, we've got the final group of the Champions League. And during that final group of the Champions League, the Gibraltar Open starts. And then that finishes. And then we got a one-day break. And then we've got the Coral Tour Championship. And then we got a little break. And then it's the China Open. And then it's the World Championship. Oh, it's looking good. We've got a good few months of snooker. Don't think about what happens after the World Championships, but we've got to wait months for the next event, because that makes you sad. But hopefully I'll see you guys next week for a quick catch-up of the week's Indian Open, and looking forward to the Coral Players Championship. I will see you next week. Enjoy your week.